The rate at which indecent dressing is growing in the society is alarming and need to be addressed urgently, as this is not in line with the principles of African culture. Young people should know that indecent dressing do not improve one's beauty, rather it dents one's image. This has become a way of dressing that is common among the people in our society, especially the female. A dress is said to be indecent if it is sexually offensive or deliberate exposure of one's vital body parts. This practice is contrary to the acceptable norms and values of the society. Many youth are exposed to the mode of dressing which they watch on television or social media, where they see celebrities dress indecently and try to emulate them. Most celebrities, while on stage, wear all sorts of clothes like pants, miniskirts, bomber shorts, tight trousers, and some put on trousers below their waist, a style now referred to as sagging. The youth tend to dress this way in order to be like celebrities, thereby ignoring their pride as regards the way one should dress in order to be addressed with respect and value, all in the name of fashion.
There are so many characteristics that characterize all the activity that were going on in the days of Noah. One of them is immorality. In our time today, immorality is taking its toll in our society in terms of the way the young girls and young boys are dressed. Because the kind of clothes they put on, because the Bible said, when you look at upon a woman and you lust after her, say you are committed fornication or adultery with her already in your heart. Does not mean you are a slave with that lady, but looking at her, picturing her body, say, look at this fine girl, look at her buttocks and all this. Say, you have done it already. So many young girls, because of their indecent dressing, they are making young boys to sin against God, to commit sin. Because I'm seeing it at the signs of the end time. Satan is there to, that his time is very short. And he's doing everything beyond his power to make sure that he lure people to himself.
Indecent dressing is a kind of dressing that is not appealing to the eyes. Mostly Christians use the term indecent dressing to describe dressings in the sense that when a particular person dresses, some vital parts of their body is exposed. I'm talking about the female now. You see some females, when they dress, they'll put on these extremely short skirts that will be revealing some vital parts of their body that actually supposed to be private. So this kind of dressings are actually termed indecent, and actually to the eyes is not appealing. To me, I don't see it as appealing because we have younger ones out there. We have younger ones in the society. When these young ones see these adults that are supposed to be looked up to, when we're talking about dressing, I don't think they have good things to learn from them, because you don't expect a child of 10 seeing an auntie of about 20-something putting on a skirt that is very, very short. What do you think that child should learn from that auntie? To be dressing the same way, thinking it's actually acceptable in the society. So when we dress, we should actually watch the way we dress. I think we should dress modestly. We should use that term, modestly. Before we leave the house, check your mirror. We all have mirrors at home. Check if this thing is something you want your child to put on when he or she grows up. Okay, I think you should put it on. But if you think you don't want your child to put on something like that when he or she grows up, I think you should pull it off and dress to something that's modest.
When you put on something that is irresponsible to the eyes of everybody in the society, and you see, according to the phrase, the way you dress, that's how they will address you. I believe that when one dresses well, it speaks well of the background that you are from, the foundation that you are from, and it also tells the type of person you are. Most of the social vices that we are experiencing in the world today and in our society, in Nigeria in particular, is as a result. It is partly as a result of indecent dressing, because of the fact that most of the rape cases that you are seeing is because of the fact that some people do not want to do what is right. And what can one really say is right is for you to be able to dress well, comport yourself. And I believe that when a young man or a young woman dresses well, I believe the society will be better off than when you dress in a negative way.
In the olden days, like all these our children wearing leaving their laps open, it's a taboo. Woman doesn't leave laps open, because that laps is among what the husband to be will pay for in future. So what they are doing now, in fact, I don't know the adjective I will use to disqualify them. They are terrible. When you talk to a child, dress properly, they will say, "Hey, you don't know what he did. You don't know what he did. Now we know what he did. That one aside, now olden days be that, and it's strong. You cannot kill them. As she's talking to you, you are talking to her. She's already outside. So the best we leave them. We cannot kill them. It's only God that will put them straight."
Where a dressing is indecent when it's unduly revealing. You know, there are some ladies who will dress and then reveal some vital parts of their body. People go braless. You see them dressed in a very light cotton material, and you can see their nipples pointed. It is indecent. You see them dressed with jeggings, you call it, and you can see the curves, you know, of their body, both front and back. You know, for me, it's indecent. So you must ensure that you cover this vital part of your body. It is not by showing those vital parts that makes the man attractive to you. You cannot keep a man. You may only attract him, and then you become a use and dump. You cannot keep a man by so doing. You must be decently dressed. Let the man begin to guess, begin to imagine what you have under your beautiful dress, and not to show him, to reveal everything to him. That there's nothing to discover anymore. So for me, it is indecent when you are dressed in such a way that there is nothing to be discovered. Everything will be revealed. Under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, or other act which is applicable to Abuja, which I believe those states have domesticated, you know, it's an offense where a lady exposes vital parts of her body, even an office environment, in such a way that is tormenting, the male within her environment. Such way, the same way, is also an offense for a male to also expose himself unduly to a lady, because we are putting them under psychological stress. But that is not a basis for you to lose control. I want to commit the offense of rape. Whoever does that and give the reason that a lady was necessarily dressed, that excuse will not hold. Like I've often said, the deepest part of jail, is what is reserved for you, because you must learn to put yourself under control. A man can also dress indecently. A man cannot dress, you're buttoning your shirt, you can show your chest. Women, sometimes they fall in love with men with biceps, and so now you expose it unduly. Then you wear, trousers showing your crotch, in such a way that you want to show that, you are big down there. These are all indecent dressing, so for both male and female, you must ensure that we dress decently. Don't make yourself too revealing in such a way that you begin to cause other person to pass through psychological stress. For those who are weak-minded, they now give it as an excuse. Oh, I cannot get home myself, that's why I fell for it. That is not an excuse. You must be disciplined, you must be God-fearing, you must be ready to, and be able to put your flesh under subjection, and allow your control. Your erection, like I said, must not give it direction. You should rather give it direction.
Indecent dressing, which is a common sight in public places, churches, and offices, is one of the major causes of assault and sexual harassment in the society. The effects of globalization arising from wrong values of exportation and importation, reflection of high rates of moral decadence in the larger society, poor parental guidance, misuse of the internet, low self-esteem, peer pressure group, and the desire to belong, as well as fading values and dominic influence, all contribute to indecent dressing.
We don't understand actually what indecent dressings are. Indecent dressings, there are dresses you wear to different occasions. Dressing you put on to church is quite different from a dressing you put on to maybe some occasions. For instance, a dressing you put on to a wedding ceremony is quite different from a dressing you put on to a traditional marriage. It's also different from a dressing you put on to maybe those who club. And then when you put on a dressing for a party to a kind of to church, it becomes indecent. When you put on a dressing you're supposed to wear to a graduation ceremony where you have personalities to possibly traditional marriage, is an indecent dressing too. But in Africa here, what we look at indecent dressing properly is most cases applicable to ladies. You see some ladies, the way they dress, I mean, you get embarrassed. And not only that, I want to quote Archbishop Benson in the House of Blessed Memory, that one time said, dress the way people should address you. There are some dresses you put on, you become a temptation to so many people. You create an avenue where you want somebody to easily talk to you the way you might not even like it. All those kind of dresses are indecent. I cannot imagine a young lady who will put on a dress from the house and you are showcasing your boss, you are showcasing your probably inner wears. Then you look at the boys today, a boy that put on trouser and your undies are being seen by those outside is an indecent dressing. Those dresses are those ones they wear in the not only cell, whatever you call it. Those things are indecent dressing. You don't put on niqab and you are in the church. It's an indecent dressing. You don't wear niqab, you go to office, it's an indecent dressing. You imagine how the bankers are dressed. There is dress corporate. So if you are a banker and you go to office with niqab, it's an indecent dressing. There are dressings you wear on weekends. Maybe you put on jeans, canvas and the t-shirts. Those dressings are made for weekends. And then when somebody looks at you, he said, yeah, this one is responsible. Any clothes you put on and somebody say you are responsible, it's an indecent dressing. The implication is that you will cause people to let down on you. That is one. Number two, if you're a lady, you might even cause some men that are not disciplined, to embarrass you sexually. When we talk about sexual molestation, you discover that some of the reasons are because of the way some of the young ladies dress. So I want to also use the opportunity to say the indecent dressing is not good at all for humanity.
Indecent. For there to be something indecent, that means there is a standard already, what is supposed to be called decent. So, and I believe that, because our society is such that we all we grew up in family units where we have been told what is right and what is wrong, what is decent and what is indecent. Deep down in our heart, we all have that sort of standard already so cast in our mind. So I would say that anything indecent to be any dressing that is does not meet what is societally accepted in terms of maybe exposing vital parts or supposed private parts of our bodies. But it could be relative, in different climes. What is permissive, what is permissible seem to change with different climes. So for me, I would say such dressings are not really encourageable. And I don't think it's only on the side of the female folk. It cuts across both male and female. So I would say that we should all do our best to do what is right, to dress decently, so that we do not begin to show wrong examples to those who are looking up to us. Because whether you like it or not, we all seem to be role models in one way or the other. There's always somebody that's looking up to you. It could be in your family, it could be within your vicinity, of your community. So let us try to send the right signals by dressing decently. And if for those who may not have noticed that they have, one way or the other that the dress is apparently indecent, somebody close to them may have mentioned it to them or looked at you in a very funny or very suspicious way. that is for you to take it as a point of correction, to adjust, and don't take it like somebody is trying to talk you down or be rude to you. I think it will help our society if we can all keep what we know is a good practice.
What I consider about innocent dressing, as a female, you're supposed to dress fine, dress well. Innocent dressing will make you to look like a girl that is not well trained, and a girl that don't have the fear of God, a girl that is not from a righteous home or a good home. Innocent dressing make people look at you as a Jezebel, that you are headed to hellfire. And a responsible mother, responsible parents will never allow their child to marry a girl that don't have a good character and that don't dress well. Not being able to dress well, make people to look at you as a wayward child. Naked, showing your breast, doing all kind of things, will make people to look at you as irresponsible daughter. And you can never have a decent man to marry you. Any men that don't dress well, they are possessed, they are demon. As a responsible man or from a godly home, you will know them by their dress. By their dress, the way they do things, the way they talk, the way they act, and what they put on. For somebody to know whether you are from a good home or a bad home. When you did not dress well, you attract bad people. You are seduces people. Even somebody, there is how you will dress as a female. You attract the kind of men that will approach you. Your dressing attract the kind of people you need in your life. There are some people that will dress well, as if you dress well, there are some guys that cannot trust you, can't approach you, because they know this one belongs to this side, this one belongs to this. You know a guy by you know somebody, whether boy or girl. When arm robber dress, you will know it's arm robber. When you see Yahoo boy, you will know it's Yahoo boy. Yahoo pastor, you also know that.
Well, what I consider is this: every responsible man or woman, if you want to leave your house, you dress properly, wear clothes that will cover your body, cover your bottom, dress as somebody who is responsible. Your dress must look good, look iron. Those who like to iron clothes, those who does not like to iron clothes, wear a proper dress like jeans, fine polo. You should cover your bottom, both man and woman. I consider that one. If you dress like that, you look more responsible and decent. Those one who does not dress properly before they leave home, it shows how responsible they are from their home, and it looks so bad for a young lady or a young man to dress from his home. He has a father and mother. Nobody will question this. He's living. Why do you dress this? Why do you dress like this? They are the fault of the parents. The fault is from the home, and it is very bad to the public. It contributes to raping. If a young lady now just come out half naked, and they attract so many men who does not remove their eye.
If you dress anyhow, you don't even care the way you dress. Maybe there are some people today in our society, they don't mind how they dress. Some dress to seduce their fellow counterpart, both the boys and the girls. You see even the boys, you see some boys, they go naked on the street in the name of what? Faction. The same thing is applied to the girls too. They go naked on the street, they call this what? Faction. This ought not to be. We should be mindful of how we dress, because there's an adage that says that dress the way you should be what? Addressed. And we also have an adage in our own tradition that it is what you put on that determines whether you will pound yam for your in-law or not. So, if you dress anyhow to your in-law place and he's pounding yam or she's pounding yam, say, my in-law, I beg go come. Just help me pound this yam. Why? Because of the way you dress. But if you put on suit or you dress very well, it will scratch his head 10 times. He dare not call you to come and pound yam. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So we should be actually mindful of how we dress. Dress decently so that people can address you properly. Don't go naked on the street and call it what? Faction. You see boys and girls, you see some of them, they'll put their trousers close to the ankle. That is not fair. Instead of the waist, they remove from the waist. You begin to see their dirty boxers. The same thing with girls too. So the way what they call fashion nowadays, I can't tell that it is fashion. It's crazy type of wears. Because of the way people dress today, you see rape here and there. You see boys raping girls. Why? At least there's the way the girl will dress. When you pass on group of boys, they won't stop without talking. Some people cannot even resist it. You find that you say, I want to go after this girl. Why? Because of the way the girl dressed. The same thing, there's the way some boys will dress too. You look at the girl and say, this guy, I love this guy. I want to go for him. You will find whatever means to be close to this guy. So it depends on how we dress. It matters. It affects the society, positive and negative.
Indecent dressing is any dressing that is not decent. Let me put it that way. And what makes a dressing to be decent? When the dressing conceals the required parts of the body which are regarded as nudity. I am a Muslim. In Islam regards the nudity of men as from navel to the knee, and the nudity of women is all parts of the body with the exception of the hands and the face and the feet. While some say even the face is the most beautiful, it should be covered. That's why I see some Muslims in Puda. Now, having said that, coming to our society where we live in now, it is required that for a dress to be proper, for women, it should not be tight-fitting, it should not be transparent, it should not be revealing the contours. The attractive parts of the woman should be properly concealed. And then the men, the parts I've explained before, should also be covered. It's indecent for a man to wear his trousers and lower it showing his boxers. It's different for a woman wearing spaghetti, revealing an attire exposing her breast. Then the negative impact of indecent dress in the society, especially on women. Exposing your attractive parts can make weak men to go after you, either for adultery or fornication, and then weaker and wicked men and criminals can even be lured into trying to indecently assault that woman or even rape that woman. But that is not a justification for rape. Everyone is free to dress the way he likes. The Quran says that you should lower your gaze as believing men. Believing women, lower your gaze as well. Now, if we dress decently, it will attract the blessings of God. For example, if you look at the Quran and the Bible, even the angels of blessing, when we are properly dressed, they come, take our prayers and our deeds to Almighty God. But if you are not properly dressed, then of course we scare the angels of blessing away from our environment. So that is spiritual angle. And then you observe that going for interview, we always properly dress. We dress decently. So that should be a standard. Oh, am I okay for an interview the way I'm dressed? If I'm not okay, it's that person I'm not properly dressed. Though we are allowed to wear casual dresses. And then one thing must be said clearly. There is no attire you cannot wear. But it depends on the place you are. It's wrong to say women are not allowed to wear trousers. They are allowed to wear trousers. But when you wear it, wear a loose top. Do not reveal your contours. And then of course, before the husband, a wife is free to even wear a bra and a pant. I even be naked, depending on where you are at the particular time. So that defends dressing. And so for the society to be in order, we should try as much as possible to comply with the code of dressing. Dress as you like to be addressed.
First and foremost, indecent has to do with something that is not proper. Indecent dressing means improper dressing. So if as a right-thinking man or a God-fearing person, you should dress the way you want to be addressed. I think that is what Archbishop Benson Idahosa taught us. Say dress the way you want to be addressed. If you don't want to be called a prostitute, don't dress like prostitute. If you want to be called a pastor, dress like a pastor. You want to be called a doctor, dress like a doctor. By the time you are dressing anyhow, seductively, let me put it that way, you are not only committing sin, you are luring others to sin. So indecent dressing is dressing that is not proper, it's not fit for the society. It's an immoral dressing. That's how I see it. Many, I just mentioned one. If you dress indecently, especially if you are dressing like prostitute, You don't only commit sin, you draw others, you lure others to sin. It doesn't make people to respect you. It doesn't bring honor to you. It doesn't show that you have the fear of God. It doesn't show that you are responsible. So these are some of the effects. And people will want to run away from you. In rape, yes. Well, as we have said before, yes. The way you dress can lure others. The way you dress can seduce others. Can make people to come after you. That's the truth. It's contributing immensely.
Indecent dressing, it actually depends on what we're talking about. It depends on what we're looking at, because dressing is actually depending on a culture. So what could be decent in my culture could be indecent in your culture. Like in Nigerian culture, when you see a man wear skirts, you frown. So what is this person doing? When you see a man weave his hair, it's all about. But in another culture, men wear skirts. So it depends on what we see in our culture to be indecent. But again, there's an aspect of dressing that's actually generally will be seen as indecent, irrespective of your culture, your tribe, because when you dress and you expose yourself, generally, I think from all culture, it will be seen as indecent. And such dressing actually attracts the likes of people who, I use the word insane, who are not normal, people who have the heart of evil. So when we look at indecent dressing from our culture here, we're looking at people who do not dress normally. Permit me to say, today when you look at our young men dressing, young women dressing, there's more like no difference between them and people who are insane. People who are insane for a period of time must have worn their clothes and it's worn out. It gets torn, and people who just go to the market and look for clothes that are torn to buy. Such dressings actually do not tell well. And it's not actually the dressing that makes the man, it is the man that decides what he will wear. So it's from the heart, not from what you wear. So indecent dressing actually has nothing positive to the society. It doesn't tell well of the society when you have people like this in the society. It paints a picture of people in this particular group. So I would say indecent dressing is actually not to be encouraged by our parents, by leaders of the society. And if I would solicit, the government should look at ways to curb indecent dressing amongst young men and women, where you see a man wears his trousers and he sags. It doesn't tell well of the man. And there's a common saying that you dress the way you wish to be addressed. So when you are not dressing decently, people address you, they relate with you, and they rate you by your dressing.
There are various ways in which indecent dressing can be addressed to a minimum level, even though we are entitled to our own opinion and decisions. We should dress moderately and to standard and not drag our family's name in the mud. Parents should dress decently and act as role model to their children. Religious institutions should promote the culture of indecent dressing. Dress codes should be introduced in higher institutions and given to students. The mass media should do more to promote decency in dressing among youth. And there should be formation of campus brigade to check the dressing pattern of students. Caroline Okonji on Special Report.